on GHOne television. Coming up this afternoon, state of emergency talks in limbo as government donates to Tidal wave victims. Is there finality to this devastating recurrence? We'll engage experts. Also, Small Arms Commission requests return of explosives taken from Konongo Odumase blast site, citing potential danger. 48-year-old convicted wrongfully seeks justice after serving 19 years of his prison term. We'll tell you more about that. And final countdown is on as 2025 Women of Valour kicks off in a few hours, celebrating the audacity of courage in Paris, France. We've got details of these and more here on the bulletin. Stay with us. Well, grateful for your company this afternoon. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. We apologize profusely for the late start of the program. But in our stories this afternoon, a 48-year-old drinking bar owner, Yao Apia, has been acquitted and discharged by the Court of Appeal after serving 19 years of a 45-year sentence for robbery, a crime he did not commit. Apia was wrongfully convicted in 2011 at the age of 29, following 5 years on a remand. He spent nearly 2 decades in the Nsawam prisons from 2006 onwards before the Court of Appeal overturned his conviction, deeming it a tragedy. Overcome with emotion, Apia recounted the immense hardship and painful experiences he endured during his imprisonment. He sat with our legal affairs correspondent, Mutala Inusa.
Court of Appeal kase confie kra eno ma ofu judgment na mo de ma o kwedo mo de ball if day one kopim sada no was spending 19 years e wo prison uka wa brabo mo how ben office side we amawakum
o mako ha mbebele because tama yeche na me nyisa na me 29 years tama ma da prison chair. Na prison me kwa nso manfa na easy awre ho hye na kuma mma na tumi so sa because I say no minimum ho hwe ntina me dwen ho na ye me ya nso bibia no na me de mani to nyankopon se obey bibi di amame ti bibia me nya botre ti bibia ma dwen kura me tumi tena se bompa isa nyankopon bo amene me fimpi na because as I'm no me dwen ho na
menso na how
Well, we'll bring you the full package in subsequent bulletins. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has spearheaded relief efforts in affected communities of the tidal wave in the Ketu South municipality, ensuring that affected families receive immediate support. Now, during his visit to the worst-hit communities, John Mahama announced a series of donations of an amount of 100,000 cedis and 250 bags of rice from various sources to alleviate the suffering of those displaced. The president also directed the Finance Minister to allocate funds for the commencement of Phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project to mitigate flooding.
And they have made the assessment and they're giving us a comprehensive report of what is happening here. 51 households have been affected and 300 people have been displaced and 80 meters of the coastline has been washed away. Now, when Chief was speaking, he touched on what the issue is. We started a sea defense project called Blekusu Phase 1. The feasibility study was also done for Blekusu Phase 2, and the understanding was that when the contractor finishes Phase 1, he will continue with Phase 2. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the project ended at Phase 1. Government did not provide funding to continue Phase 2. Phase 2 would have covered Akaveji, Salakope, Adina, and Amotino. And so that basically is the problem. The feasibility study is ready, the design is ready. We just have to allocate the funding so that the project will start. Happily, the finance minister next week is going to present the budget. So I'm going to ask the finance minister to include funding to start phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. Before we came here, we went to the resettlement project that I believe or I've heard is being financed by Ghana Gas. I don't think the project was well thought through. The work is shoddy, and even the area where the resettlement is being built is a flood area, and so if it floods, it will affect those buildings too. And so those buildings are not fit for purpose. There are two things we need to do: start the building of the phase 2 of the defense wall, but at the same time resettle those whose houses have been affected. In the meantime, to alleviate the plight of those who have been affected, we brought some items to be distributed to those who have been displaced. The items are from 3 sources. One, our brother Governor Kodjo, who is our Minister of Roads and Transport, has donated 250 bags of rice. For those of you who know, our mother comes from Denu, and so we're also part of you. And so my younger brother, who is the MD for Engineers and Planners, has also given 100,000 cedis.
Well, John Dramani Mahama there commiserating and also sharing some level of empathy with those who've been displaced there. Plans have been far advanced, and also he's made that conversation clear about resettlement among others. But let's have a conversation on this. Professor Kwesi Apienin Ado is professor in coastal processes at the Department of Marine and Fishery Sciences of the University of Ghana, and he's joined us. Prof, thank you so much for your time. So looking at what has happened, clearly this is not the first time you're seeing this happen along the coast. What is your initial reaction to the displacement of people in the Ketu South area now?
I didn't get your question very clear.
Right.
So there's some background noise.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, please.
Great. So, Prof, I'm asking, this is not the first time we've been confronted with a situation of this kind. Looking at this recent one, what's your initial reaction to it?
Yeah, thank you very much. You are right. This is not the first time we are confronted with this kind of situation. But I think the intensity and the severity is high. And I can also say that the impact is very high this time. So it calls for immediate action. So although it's a persistent problem, the action or the need to do something immediately, I think it's eminent that we do something very, very urgent.
And so we've seen commitment from the president. He moved there yesterday, right after the 6th March parade here in Accra, and he's visited the people there. Also indicated that, well, phase 2 of the Blekusu project will be carried out swiftly. Talked about resettlement among others. Is that the way to go?
Yes, I think what the situation we have at hand now demands that we stabilize the shoreline. And in stabilizing the shoreline, the phase 2 of the Blekusu project needs to begin immediately. But the question is, are we ready for the impact? It's not just about implementing these interventions. These interventions have impact. Are we looking beyond just implementing? Because we need to understand how the impacts are going to be and how we are going to react to the impact. That is very, very important. Because what we are observing now is as a result of some of the initial sea defense projects we have done. Because the Keta Sea Defense Project, the Blekusu Sea Defense Project phase 1 are all trapping sediment. And as you trap sediment, you are just transferring the problem from one location to the other. So if we begin with the phase 2, are we looking at how the challenges being transferred from that section to the other part of the shoreline going to be resolved? So it's not just about putting in these interventions. It's about putting in the interventions, putting in measures to be able to manage the impact of these interventions. I think that is how we should look at it. We should be holistic. We should be proactive about it. The knee-jerk approach, we should move away from it. But like the president said, we must react immediately by stabilizing the shoreline.
Right. Is it too early to be calling for a state of emergency in the area as a result of what has happened?
Sorry, please, can you come again?
I'm asking if it's too early to be calling for a state of emergency to be declared in the area where we are seeing this happen.
oh yeah, it's too early to call for a state of emergency.
Right.
I think we haven't got this yet. We need to have a management plan, and this we can solve it if we put a management plan into it. I think we don't need to call for a state of emergency.
Prof, thank you so much. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sharing your thoughts with us on this particular matter. But away from the coast, let me take you to the Ashanti region. Acting Executive Secretary of the Small Arms Commission, Dr. Adam Bona, is asking for the return of unexploded devices from the Konongo Odumase deadly explosion, which is believed to have been moved by some individuals after the explosion. Now, speaking to GHOne television, Dr. Bona said those who moved the said devices should report them to the nearest police station. He added that the Commission is intensifying adherence to regulations on handling of explosives.
We are told that some of the, unexploded, devices might have been moved. Those who have moved them should quickly report this to the nearest police station or call our outfits or, any of the sister security agencies, because these are deadly weapons and shouldn't be deadly explosives. That should not be amongst the population. Our work is to collaborate effectively with other sister security agencies to ensure that we combat the illicit use of firearms, explosives, and the rest.
Well, still in the Ashanti region, Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amwakohene, on behalf of government, has donated a sum of 5,000 cedis each to the 30 houses which were affected by the Konongo Odumase explosion. The blast, which occurred on Wednesday, March 5, at a container shop, claimed 3 lives and destroyed about 30 houses. The minister further assured the community that a team of investigators had been tasked with conducting thorough investigation to ensure there were no hidden mining explosives in any house or shop in the area, preventing further disasters.
30 houses now are affected. I've instructed say not never a thorough assessment. Baby there was a mom baby da or was a bomb to Sabo Daiso. A man is a report no anymore. Now the national news and come with me a quiet because of the could do Kumasi a mattress emergency relief items yes, stores to see Bema the Yaba Sabea Abusafua or my affected between Abua in that regard. In fear 30, a fear households 30 now I affected me now. So remember, if you be no 5,000 Ghana cedis, that is 50 million. Now Omofanya and money Muya near Mabi on Bihina said there be money any Omoya Dudu. So remember, coordinating director and Nananum Etinia said there be a fear feeling you need to identify Omo. Now said Ombachana Ebebuama Etimi Aso and Nokakran.
Now, the much anticipated Women of Valour 2025 is finally here. Now, the empowerment celebrating resilience, leadership, and the inspiring stories of women who have defied the odds takes center stage in Paris, France. There's more.
As Women of Valour is noted for, it's a platform where women around the world gather to share their stories of courage, to inspire other women, mostly young women. And as we have done in the past 2 editions, we are going to be doing same this time around, sharing stories of courage to empower other women as well, to let them know that they're not alone on this journey and that they can learn from other people's stories as well. So basically, anybody who attends this year's events taking place in Paris will walk away knowing that they are not alone in whatever struggles they're going through. This year's theme is the audacity of courage. Having the audacity to be courageous, even in the face of storms, for you to overcome those storms and get through with your goals and ensuring that your dreams become a reality. You know, Miss Universe Nigeria, Chidema Adechina, she's one of our key speakers, and her story epitomizes courage, looking at what she went through in South Africa and eventually coming to Nigeria to win the Miss Universe Nigeria and also becoming a runner-up at the global level. We also do have Anna Shebelina, who is a model model and has ventured into real estate. And then we have our very own Tucci Ivowi as well. And so it's a high-powered team of ladies, wonderful ladies that will be speaking and sharing their stories for that matter. And it's just left to the three amazing speakers. We also have other speakers as well. We have Mame Jimfua Yeboah. She is also going to be one of the speakers, not necessarily the main speaker, but she'll be speaking about what to do after school. And then we also have the etiquette lady, Chicagoka, should also be sharing with us, how to be a quintessential lady. So it's a full package. We are going to be streaming via YouTube and Facebook. And so various participants can participate wherever they are. It will be on the Nabanamwa's YouTube channel as well as the Women of Valour YouTube channel as well as Facebook, and so they are not left out at all, no matter where you are.
Women of Valour, Paris 2025, the audacity of courage. Hey, you wanna know I'm a woman of valor. You can know.
And so yes, Nadi Ditete there, she is spokesperson for the Women of Valour, and the women are indeed in Paris, France. Let's do some business now. Now, the CSIR Savannah Agricultural SARI, in collaboration with Japan International Research Center for Agricultural Sciences, has introduced a new technology for identifying yam varieties. This technology aims to enhance the reliability and efficiency of yam classification. According to scientists, the implementation of this new technology will improve the identification of yam varieties, assist in breeding efforts, support the conservation of production systems, and provide value for money certification for the export market.
Yam is a staple crop with significant economic benefits for farmers and exporters in the Savannah ecological zone. The most popular yam varieties cultivated in this region include Puna, Lariboko, Punjo, and Nyaminti. However, challenges such as poor shelf life, high pesticide residue levels, and missing of yam varieties during cultivation have led to increased post-harvest losses for exporters. Many yam exporters struggle to accurately identify different yam varieties before export due to morphological similarities, farmers' errors, and environmental influences. Some exporters even substitute Puna for Lariboko to achieve higher profits during export. An exporter of yam recently shared insights in an interview with GHOne TV.
When they use the chemicals, they can cultivate larger portions, larger farms for local consumption and exports. But unfortunately, the chemical usage poses threat to our business. Not only to our business, but it poses threats to the yam production in Ghana. Because when it goes out there and it is detected that chemical usage has a percentage that is not the standard they want outside, we are likely to face a ban on exports of yam to US or Europe.
In response to the challenges encountered by yam farmers and exporters in identifying yam varieties during cultivation and export processes, the CSIR Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, SARI, has developed a molecular technique known as simple sequence repeat markers. This innovative method enables accurate identification of yam varieties for both cultivation and export purposes. Following a training workshop with stakeholders in yam sector, a senior research scientist elaborated on the rationale and significance of the technology in an interview with Wenyefia Noanash.
So the system is to enable us differentiate between the varieties of yam that we have on the market in order to prevent mixtures and also resolve the problem of mixtures that is encountered in yam seed production, in the export market, and also with farmers. That's the major importance of this technology, just to identify with certainty the identity of yam varieties.
With the innovation being introduced, the chairman of the Yam Development Council, Mr. Tony Tsikba, urged yam exporters to use the technology as marketing tool for the country's best yam variety for export with certification.
For us, we can use it as a marketing tool, right? So that it's only Ghana that you get Pona from. Tell the people that this is Pona when we have certification, like they've done here. They're doing the true to type. They've done it. You buy the seed from here. You know where you bought the seed from. You take it to a farmer. A farmer produces it according to the required standards and certification. Then when you take it out, and the PPRSD stamps on it that this is of export quality, that's where you make the money.
Japan International Research Center for Agricultural Sciences, which partnered with CSIR, SARI, pledged to support SARI through innovative research aimed at developing the yam sector.
Now let's do some sports news. Now, ardent Asante Kotoko fan Frimpong, popularly known as Nana Pole, who tragically lost his life after being stabbed during a Ghana Premier League match, was laid to rest on Thursday, March 6, 2025, at the Ahafo Kukum Royal Mausoleum in Kumasi. The funeral, held at Heroes Park within the Babayara Sports Stadium, was attended by family, friends, football administrators and supporters from various football clubs across the country.
To live for and to die for something you so much believe in is the greatest love and devotion one can show. These were the scenes from the burial grounds of the late Nana Pole. The technical team of Kumasi Asante Kotoko and players gathered to bid a solemn farewell to their beloved supporter, Francis Frimpong, aka Nana Pole. Fans of Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Folk were in unity at the burial. The president of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kweku, Vice President Mark Ado, along with Executive Council members and Regional Football Association chairman, were all present to pay their final respects. Supporters of Accra Hearts of Folk and Nations FC, among others, were all at the final funeral rites of the late Nana Pole to bid him goodbye. Bechem United President Dr. Kingsley Owusu Echao, together with the CEO Kingsley Osaibonsu, led the management of the team, and passionate supporters, the Hunters, were all in attendance. Pole, according
Now, forces linked to Syria's new rulers have engaged in heavy fighting with fighters loyal to deposed President Bashar al-Assad in a coastal area of the country. It is the worst violence in Syria since rebels toppled Assad in December and installed an Islamist transitional government. A war monitoring group, the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said more than 70 people have been killed. A curfew has been imposed in the parts and port cities of Latakia and Tatos, where the fighting has broken out. The clashes started when government forces were ambushed during a security operation in Latakia. Reinforcements have been sent and videos posted online show heavy gunfire in some places. The coastal region is the heartland of the Alawite minority and a stronghold of the Assad family, which belong to the Alawite sect. Now, estimations of the number of people killed in the violence vary, and the BBC has been unable to independently verify. And that's all in the package this afternoon. There was more news for you at starfm.com.gh. I am GHOne Kodjo Mensah. Do have a wonderful afternoon.